Hi guys, my name is Isabella, and this is our special guest. What's your name?
My name is Mr. Morera.
Mr.
Peter Morera is my legal name.
And what do you teach here at the high school? What
I teach
subject?
this year. It's been Human Geography and AP World History.
Okay.
And then next year it will be World History and AP World.
Ooh, okay. And are you enjoying your last year of teaching Human Geo?
Yeah, I have enjoyed Human Geo.
Yeah.
It is a very great topic. I enjoy teaching it. A lot of interesting, relevant information for students to learn. I think students like a lot of it as well.
Okay.
Maybe not all of it.
I'm sure they'll enjoy AP World. And then you'll have them next year, right? Technically, right?
Yeah, and a lot of the...
So you're going to have them 2 years in a row?
I will, for sure. I don't know who yet, but they're definitely going to be...
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, are we ready for the first question?
Ready.
Okay.
Think.
What is your favorite part about teaching?
I think my favorite part is when I see students interested in what we're learning, and when they are, I know they're interested because if they're asking questions about the topic, and when I see later that they're like exploring the topic further, or even if they come see me the next year, or even after they graduate and they remember something from the class, that's pretty special. So when students are engaged, that's my favorite part. If they're actually like into it, that's my favorite part.
Yeah, because we like when students are present in the moment, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because how do you feel about kids that don't pay attention? Do they usually bug you? Or you're just
there's some students that don't pay attention, but then they're quiet and they don't bother other people. I want them to be more engaged, but the ones who don't pay attention and distract the class, those ones they're a little more troubling because they're distracting other people from learning.
Yeah.
But I understand, you have to be in school for a lot of hours every day for many, many, many years, and there's a lot of other competition for people's interests today. So I get it when you're not going to be engaged all day, and you're going to get bored sometimes. But it's like all day, every day.
Yeah. Do you actually enjoy having freshmen as students, or would you prefer having maybe upperclassmen like juniors or seniors?
Are any freshmen going to hear this?
Maybe.
No, I totally do. I'm kidding. Absolutely. I do enjoy teaching freshmen. Yes.
Yeah.
There's probably upsides and downsides to teaching, all the different grade levels. I'd say the upside to freshmen is they can still be a little silly. As kids get a little older, by junior year, they're very locked. They're much more mature, and they don't laugh at my corny jokes anymore as much. They might roll their eyes, but freshmen might be like, that's funny. All right.
It makes you feel proud when they laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay, next question is, what is one piece of advice you would give your high school self? Or your younger self?
That's a very, very good question. I think about that as a lot. As a teacher, so if I were to talk to my younger self, I would have told myself, this doesn't apply to everybody, but I would have said, don't go to university right away. Work or travel and work for a year. Then go to community college and be serious about it. Get your get the credits and then transfer. Figure things out a little bit. This is specifically to me because I went right to the university and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do career wise. So I didn't really know what classes to take, and I feel like I would have benefited by taking a little time and maybe working and maybe working abroad. Another thing I would have said is make sure in college to study abroad. I didn't do that. I think that's everyone who does it, they say that's one of the best experiences they had in college.
Yeah, it looks like a nice experience.
Yeah, it can be challenging to coordinate that, but I think the rewards from it, being immersed in a different culture, learning a language, like improving a language you already speak a little bit of, or like, you know, learning about the world.
Yeah, because there's always college. Like, you can always go back, right?
Exactly, you can.
Yeah, that's good advice. Do you ever see yourself in students? Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, there are. Yeah, I do sometimes.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that kid reminds me of me when I was in high school.
Yeah, I definitely do. There's a kid graduating right now, and I've known him since his sophomore year. I definitely see some of myself in him. Some of our tastes, and like, actually, yeah, he's actually studying political science. That's what I studied.
Oh, okay.
So similar. I think he said he wants to be a teacher too. But just this year he said that. But I always kind of saw a little bit of him and me, and then there's been others as well.
What were you like in high school? Were you like the quiet or like the loud type?
I was probably in between.
In between.
I took my classes pretty seriously. Like, I studied. I got good grades. Not the very best grades. I wasn't like the valedictorian or anything, but I was a pretty good student. And then I think I played tennis. And I got into surfing in high school, so I kind of wanted to like go after school with friends to the beach.
Yeah. Wait, where did you go? Here?
I went to Bonita.
Bonita.
I went to Bonita, yes.
Wow. Isn't that like our number one op?
It is. It is the number one op of Eastlake. It's true. The rivals, the Boot.
Yeah, the Boot.
Boot Bonita.
Wow. And do you miss it at all? Like, how come you didn't want to teach there? Or you did it?
Actually, you don't get to become a teacher. You pretty much apply to a school district, and they're going to put you where they have room. You don't really apply directly to schools. Maybe if a principal knows you and like knows, oh, you were a good substitute or a good teacher, they might do something to try to recruit you. But Eastlake was, I got hired actually at Options, which is like a really small school on the west side, but it was one semester. And then when they didn't need me anymore after that, and then Eastlake picked me up, and I've been here for 12 years.
When you were first trying to apply for a job in the school district, did you hope to work at Bonita? Or like...
I thought it would have been cool to work at Bonita, but I had subbed at all the different schools in the district. I'd subbed everywhere, and Eastlake was like probably my favorite one to come to. Yeah.
What was it about Eastlake that?
I had the least problems with Eastlake students, like behavior problems. Like, they were all very just helpful, even. And there was actually some teachers here that turns out I knew. So it was good to see familiar faces, and it was a very welcoming environment. And they called me a lot because like, it's such a big school. Yeah, they needed subs all the time. So I like that I got jobs here. So I was like, Eastlake, hey.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Eastlake too. Kind of.
Good.
Okay. Okay. Next question: what piece of advice would you give incoming high school students?
Incoming high school students, try, put in effort in class. Don't get into vaping.
Oh yeah.
It's such a either any kind of vaping. It's so everywhere in it now. Like, try to avoid that.
Yeah.
You don't need that in your life. I would say join clubs. Like, try in school, but then also network. Like, try to join different groups on campus. Be involved in something. That's like school advice and like life advice. You kind of have to put yourself out there and like seek opportunities, and like even like with making friends, because you're gonna make friends in high school that you will have for life. And there might not be the same opportunities later in life to meet so many people. So, I'd say you're here to learn, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
It's important, huge part of it, but it is also a social socialization, like meeting people, creating your network of friends and people that you may know for your whole life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And maybe you'll find an interest also that by meeting up with cool people in a different club or organization, whether it's music or gaming or sports, like somehow that'll help you, guide you through life.
I agree. I think clubs really do help you gain friendships and just like different insights on stuff. And what advice would you give high schoolers that are graduating?
Graduates, I would say, different graduates, have maybe some of them already are very clear. They have very clear goals defined and they're going for them. Mm-hmm. Others maybe not as sure. So let's say the ones that have goals already and they're like on that path,
mm-hmm.
keep going. If you're not as sure, I wouldn't beat yourself up too much. But I would say stay, even if you don't go to school right away,
mm-hmm.
or if you're going to community college, stay engaged. Like as long as you're active and doing new things, either like going to school or working, the path of life will sort of reveal itself to you.
Mm-hmm.
If you stagnate too much and you just kind of stay home and sleep in the basement, right, and don't get a job and if you're too lazy, life will slow way down and not be as rewarding. And it seems like it's a pretty high stakes world out there. There's a lot of competition from other people for jobs and questions about AI and taking over jobs.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of uncertainty. So I'd say also try to keep a positive mindset. And it's easier to do that when you're moving forward, at least doing something.
Yeah. Okay. Well, right now we're going to transition to Isabella. Now she will be asking you questions.
Okay.
Hello, I'm the other Isabella. I am the VP of this Around the Corner podcast. Hello, Mr. Mura. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you, Isabella.
Very nice. So for our final questions, I wanted to ask, what would you recommend to students that are struggling with their academics and maybe even social life?
Academics, I would say, are you putting in the effort? And if not, maybe you need a little extra support. If you are putting in effort and you still find yourself struggling, I would for sure go to the counseling, talk to your parents and go to the counselors, and there might be some extra support that you really need and could be a huge help to you. Because there might be something going on with your reading, listening. There's a lot of different things out there that could get in your way. So ask for help and guidance. And if it's just pure laziness, I would say, well, you're gonna have to figure out maybe school isn't what interests you right now. Maybe there still could be careers for you. Absolutely. It's not just because you have bad grades in high school, you're doomed to failure. Absolutely not. But find something that you love or you like, and that you can actually pay attention to and holds your attention. And students that are struggling socially, it could be again, you could have some social anxiety. There could be some emotional issues that are going on. Again, talk to your counselors, parents, teachers, to try to seek help and resources to help build up your confidence. And then also sometimes you just got to put yourself out there a little more socially. Like I said earlier, join a club, start conversations with people. When you join an activity, some sort of group, and usually you'll make friends. You'll meet your people. You will meet your tribe. Even if you don't meet them in high school, you'll meet your tribe somewhere.
Yeah, it's not always about only in high school. I feel like students a lot of the time, they think like, oh, I didn't do good in this math test, or I couldn't talk to this one person, I'm gonna be a failure for the rest of my life. It's just not like that.
No, don't be too hard on yourself. Just if you have failures in high school, it does not mean you're gonna fail in life at all. There's plenty of people that didn't do so great in high school, weren't like social in high school, and then I know people that were kind of not real popular in high school who became like incredibly social after high school.
Wow.
Like traveled the world and met all these interesting people, and just like their high school life did not, lay out, doom them to failure later.
Mm-hmm.
And some people peaked in high school.
Oh,
and
that's something else.
How do you feel about?
Yeah, how do you feel about people who peaked in high school? Do you think their life ends after high school? Because I hear most of the time after like in college, they don't do as good as they did in high school. Or maybe as good as they hoped so, like they did in high school.
Yeah, sometimes people, maybe things came, whether socially or academically, that they had success in high school and they just felt like, I don't need to do anything more. Like they can rest on their achievements. Well, everyone, like other people will pass you later. And sometimes those people, you meet them later in life and they're like, oh man, back in high school, I was so cool, or I was so fit in high school, I was such a good athlete. And then you're like, oh, and now? Oh,
I got beer bellies.
I don't think you're doing those sprints like you did back in high school.
Dang, calling them out.
But yeah, and I've seen those people. They can be kind of miserable later in life.
Oh.
They can become bitter.
Oh.
Like, because life didn't get better for them, it actually went downhill. So I feel bad for them if the peak of their life was high school. It's good to have a good high school experience. It's good to have a good high school experience, like to have success for sure. But then, if that's the peak of your life, there's a lot of years left to live. So
It's not the only thing.
yeah.
They surround themselves. They revolve around their high school experiences.
Yep.
And would you say you were like a social butterfly, or were you the bookworm? Or do you maybe think you relate a few with students who feel that sort of social anxiety or feel a little bit down when they don't do as good in the class as they wish?
Yeah, I think I was a little bit in between. I was not the 100% bookworm, but I did study, and I wasn't like the most social person, but I was pretty social, and I like to hang out with friends and like go to parties and try to get some balance in life.
A real frat boy?
I wouldn't go that far. I did join a fraternity in college, and then I dropped out of it pretty quickly because I realized that in college that life really wasn't for me. I thought it's what I wanted, but then I realized, at least at the school I was at, they weren't the people I wanted to socialize with.
You were a little confused, I'm noticing.
Yeah.
How did you ever get out of that state of confusion? How did you figure out, you know what, I want to teach human geography at Eastlake High School? That's
a longer story, because I didn't start out teaching. I worked for businesses. I worked in the private sector for like 13 or 14 years after college, before going back to school to get my teaching credential. So yeah, I don't think I was, as far as career-wise, I had some ideas of what I wanted to do as a career out of college, but as I got closer to those careers and saw what they were about, times of when things fail for you, when you lose a job and like big obstacles are put in your way and plans get derailed, sometimes it is a blessing in disguise. Sometimes you have to reinvent yourself or choose a new path. And in some cases, that new path is like the one I think you were meant to be on.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mora. I'm going to switch back to my other partner.
Oh, I'm back, guys. So, last question. So usually in our episodes, we do like a quote of the day. So is there like a specific quote that you like or always remember from many years ago?
I do have a quote.
Okay.
It is a very simple quote, but there's many layers to it. And it is from Socrates, the ancient Greek philosopher.
Okay.
Know thyself. Now it's just 2 words. Know thyself.
Oh, that's good.
And I think that is understanding the self, understanding who you are, and what you are as your individual self, but then like human. What are we as people? Like, what is our motivations? What do we really want? What are our flaws, strengths? What's beautiful about us?
I like that quote. Okay, is there anything else you want to close off with?
I like that you guys are doing podcasts. I'm a fan of a lot of podcasts. I learn a lot from podcasts. So this is the first time I've ever been interviewed on a podcast. So thank you for interviewing
of course.
me. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
You guys ask great questions.
Thank you. Well, thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you next year.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Isabel
you.
and Isabel. Have a great summer.
You too.
All right.
Okay. Bye, guys.